Welcome to Movie Library 101. In this video, we're diving deep into some of the most iconic, spine-chilling, and unforgettable horror movies of the 90s. From psychological thrillers to supernatural scares, this decade brought a fresh wave of creativity to the genre, introducing new styles, unforgettable villains, and plenty of sleepless nights. Tremors, 1990. Tremors is a cult favorite blend of horror, comedy, and science fiction. Set in the small desert town of Perfection, Nevada, the film follows handymen Val, Kevin Bacon, and Earl, Fred Ward, as they try to escape town, only to be stopped by giant, underground, worm-like creatures called graboids. These monsters sense vibrations and burst from the ground to attack. Together with a group of quirky locals, Val and Earl must fight for survival, using their wits to outsmart the graboids. One of the most unique aspects of Tremors is its practical effects. The graboids were brought to life using a mix of animatronics, puppetry, and miniatures, as CGI wasn't widely used at the time. The filmmakers went to great lengths to create realistic and terrifying creatures without relying on digital effects, which gives the film its gritty, tactile feel. Interestingly, the film's remote setting in the Nevada desert posed some logistical challenges for the crew. They often had to work around the region's extreme weather conditions, including high winds and intense heat, to get the shots they needed. Kevin Bacon has also said that while filming Tremors, he initially struggled with the idea of starring in a monster movie. However, after seeing the final product and the lasting impact it had on audiences, he came to appreciate its charm and unique genre mix. Baby Blood, 1990. Baby Blood is a French horror film that dives into dark, visceral territory, blending psychological horror with body horror in a truly unsettling way. The movie follows Yanka, a young woman who becomes the unwilling host to a parasitic creature that enters her body, demanding she feed it with human blood. As the creature grows inside her, Yanka embarks on a terrifying journey of murder and survival, losing her humanity in the process. The film stands out for its grotesque practical effects, which vividly depict Yanka's transformation and the creature's demands. Given the film's low budget, the special effects team had to be especially resourceful, relying on practical techniques to bring the bloody horror to life. This approach makes the gore feel disturbingly real and adds to the film's gritty, raw atmosphere. One fascinating fact about Baby Blood is that its unsettling tone comes not only from the visuals, but also from the creature's voice. In the French version, the creature inside Yanka is voiced by actor Alain Chabat, who would later become famous for his comedic roles. This ironic contrast between the horror of the film and the eventual fame of its voice actor adds a strange layer to its legacy. Baby Blood is a deeply disturbing entry in the body horror subgenre, and its daring, unflinching approach to its subject matter makes it a standout among early 90s horror films. Despite its niche status, the film remains a unique exploration of physical and psychological terror. Two Evil Eyes, 1990. Two Evil Eyes is a unique horror anthology film that brings together two legendary directors, George A. Romero and Dario Argento. The movie is split into two distinct segments, each adapting a story from Edgar Allan Poe's dark and twisted world of horror. Romero directs the facts in the case of Mr. Valdemar, a chilling tale of greed and the supernatural, while Argento takes on The Black Cat, an eerie psychological descent into madness. The film gives both directors a chance to showcase their individual styles while paying homage to Poe's macabre stories. What makes Two Evil Eyes particularly interesting is the collaboration between Romero and Argento, who had worked together before on Dawn of the Dead. Despite their different styles, Romero's methodical pacing and focus on social commentary, and Argento's flair for vivid, often surreal visuals, they both managed to stay true to the spirit of Poe's original works. Argento's segment, in particular, is full of his signature intense colors and elaborate set pieces, creating an unsettling atmosphere from start to finish. Filming was done in Pittsburgh, a favorite location of Romero, while Argento brought a more European flair to his story. The production is also notable for its special effects, handled by legendary makeup artist Tom Savini, who brought the gruesome moments in both segments to life with his expertise in practical effects. Although Two Evil Eyes didn't gain widespread attention upon release, its pairing of two horror masters, combined with the eerie source material, has earned it a special place among fans of the genre. Nightbreed, 1990. Nightbreed is a dark fantasy horror film directed by Clive Barker, adapted from his own novella Cabal. The movie tells the story of Boone, a man who is led to believe he's a serial killer. While trying to escape his fate, he discovers a hidden underground city called Midian, home to the Nightbreed, a group of outcast monsters living in secrecy. Boone becomes drawn to their world, ultimately facing both human and supernatural enemies. One of the film's most remarkable aspects is its creature design. Barker wanted to bring an entire society of unique monsters to life, and the production team used extensive makeup and practical effects to create a diverse range of creatures with varying appearances and abilities. The monstrous inhabitants of Midian each had their own personality, reflecting Barker's vision of making the monsters the sympathetic characters rather than the villains. The production of Nightbreed faced several hurdles. Clive Barker had a much darker, more intricate vision for the film, but studio interference led to significant cuts, which altered the narrative and tone. The theatrical release was heavily edited, leaving fans and even Barker himself disappointed. However, after years of clamoring from fans, a restored director's cut was finally released in 2014, showcasing Barker's full vision for the film with over 40 minutes of additional footage. Interestingly, Nightbreed is one of those films where the monsters are portrayed as more relatable and complex than the humans, who act as the true antagonists. Despite initial commercial struggles, it has found a dedicated following over the years, thanks to its unique story, ambitious world building, and Clive Barker's distinctive take on the horror genre. Tales from the Dark Side. The movie. 1990. Tales from the Dark Side. The movie is an anthology horror film based on the popular TV series Tales from the Dark Side. The movie consists of 3 spine-chilling segments, each directed by different talents and written by renowned horror writers, including Stephen King and George A. Romero. The wraparound story, which links the segments together, features a boy who stalls his gruesome fate by telling scary stories to a witch who plans to eat him. The 3 segments are Lot 249, Cat from Hell, and Lover's Vow, each blending supernatural elements with horror in creative ways. One of the highlights of the film is its cast, which includes Christian Slater, Steve Buscemi, Julianne Moore, and Ray Dawn Chong. Interestingly, this film marked an early appearance for Julianne Moore, who went on to become an acclaimed actress. Buscemi, known for his eccentric roles, plays a vengeful grad student in Lot 249, adding a unique flavor to the story. The production of Tales from the Dark Side. The movie had its share of challenges. Budget constraints meant that many of the special effects were created using practical effects and makeup rather than expensive CGI, which was still in its infancy. The film's dark, eerie atmosphere was largely achieved through careful lighting and low-budget effects, giving it that classic gritty horror feel that was synonymous with anthology films of the time. Originally, some filmmakers referred to this as the unofficial Creepshow 3 because of its similarities to the Creepshow series, which was also written by George A. Romero. Though it didn't reach the same level of fame, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie has its own place in horror cinema as a fun, nostalgic entry into the anthology horror subgenre. Buried Alive, 1990. Buried Alive is a made-for-TV thriller that combines elements of suspense, revenge, and horror. Directed by Frank Darabont, who would later go on to direct The Shawshank Redemption, the movie stars Tim Matheson as Clint Goodman, a man who is betrayed by his wife Joanna, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and her lover, who plot to kill him for his money. After being poisoned and buried alive, Clint miraculously survives and sets out to exact his revenge on those who wronged him, using the same coffin that was meant to be his final resting place. One of the film's intriguing aspects is its claustrophobic atmosphere, heightened by Clint's experience of being buried alive. The scenes of him clawing his way out of the coffin are both intense and symbolic, underscoring the film's theme of survival and revenge. Tim Matheson's performance as a man on the brink of death, and then reborn with a singular focus on vengeance, drives much of the tension. Production-wise, the film was shot on a tight budget, and much of the action takes place in a few key locations, including the Goodman House and the graveyard. This minimalist approach helped keep costs low, but also created an intimate, suffocating sense of dread. Interestingly, Buried Alive was successful enough to spawn a sequel in 1997, Buried Alive 2, where Matheson reprised his role. Though it may not have been a blockbuster, the movie gained a following for its simple but effective premise, and for being one of Frank Darabont's early directorial efforts before he became a major Hollywood figure. Flatliners, 1990. Flatliners is a psychological horror thriller directed by Joel Schumacher, known for its eerie exploration of life, death, and what lies beyond. The movie follows a group of ambitious medical students, played by Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, William Baldwin, and Oliver Platt, who experiment with stopping their hearts and then reviving themselves in order to experience a near-death state. However, they soon discover that their risky experiment brings back haunting memories and dark consequences from their pasts. One of the most intriguing aspects of Flatliners is its unique premise, which taps into the curiosity and fear surrounding death. Each character has a different reason for wanting to flatline, but they all face terrifying repercussions as their unresolved sins and guilt manifest in the real world. This balance of science and supernatural horror gives the film a suspenseful and thought-provoking edge. The production of Flatliners saw the use of intense dreamlike visuals, often bathed in neon colors, which contributed to the film's unsettling, almost surreal tone. Joel Schumacher's direction brought a gothic, almost operatic feel to the movie, amplifying the tension and unease. The set designs, particularly the scenes in which the students are brought back from the brink of death, were crafted to create a disorienting, otherworldly atmosphere. The film's cast, featuring several rising stars of the 90s, gave it a strong appeal at the box office. Interestingly, the actors went through medical training to make the scenes involving the defibrillators and other medical equipment appear more authentic. Flatliners has since become a standout for its dark premise and stylish execution, and it was even remade in 2017, though the original continues to hold a special place. The Exorcist III, 1990. The Exorcist III is the chilling sequel to the iconic The Exorcist, 1973, directed and written by William Peter Blatty, the author of the original Exorcist novel. Unlike its immediate predecessor, Exorcist II, The Heretic, this third installment goes back to the dark, suspenseful roots of the first film, blending supernatural horror with a gritty detective story. The film follows Lieutenant William Kinderman, played by George C. Scott, who investigates a series of gruesome murders in Georgetown that seem eerily connected to the infamous exorcism of Regan MacNeil from the original film. One of the most captivating elements of The Exorcist III is its focus on psychological horror rather than shock value possession scenes. The movie delves into themes of guilt, redemption, and evil, with much of the terror coming from eerie dialogues and unsettling atmosphere rather than gore. George C. Scott's performance as the grizzled, skeptical Kinderman gives the movie its emotional weight, while Brad Dourif shines as the chilling Gemini killer, delivering a series of intense monologues that amplify the tension. The production of The Exorcist III had its share of challenges. Blatty's original cut, titled Legion, was intended to be more of a cerebral horror film without a direct exorcism scene. However, the studio insisted on adding a more traditional exorcism to align with the franchise, leading to last-minute reshoots and edits. Despite this, the film is known for its terrifying moments, including the famous hospital corridor scene, which is considered one of the most effective jump scares in horror history. Though it faced some initial criticism, The Exorcist III has since earned respect for its complex narrative, strong performances, and Blatty's ability to craft slow-burn horror that lingers in the mind long after the credits roll. The Reflecting Skin, 1990. The Reflecting Skin is a hauntingly surreal movie written and directed by Philip Ridley. Set in a bleak, isolated rural town in 1950s America, the film follows 8-year-old Seth Dove, Jeremy Cooper, as he navigates a strange, often horrifying world filled with dark secrets and grotesque imagery. Seth's vivid imagination and the disturbing events around him lead him to believe that his mysterious, reclusive neighbor, Dolphin Blue, Lindsay Duncan, is a vampire. The film blends coming-of-age elements with psychological horror, creating a story that feels both unsettling and dreamlike. The Reflecting Skin stands out for its striking, almost painterly cinematography. The golden wheat fields and endless blue skies contrast sharply with the grotesque events and macabre atmosphere of the story, creating a sense of eerie beauty. Ridley's use of color and desolate landscapes amplifies the feeling of isolation and dread that pervades the film. This stark visual style, combined with unsettling content, gives the movie an otherworldly, nightmarish quality. Production-wise, The Reflecting Skin was shot in the Canadian prairies, which perfectly capture the vast, barren, and almost alien landscapes Ridley envisioned. The film is filled with bizarre and tragic characters, reflecting a world where innocence is often tainted by violence, grief, and fear. Despite its grim themes, the movie never quite fits neatly into any one genre, blending elements of horror, drama, and fantasy. Though The Reflecting Skin didn't receive widespread recognition at the time of its release, it has since gained appreciation for its unique storytelling and visual style, becoming a hidden gem for fans of surreal, art house cinema. The film's unsettling tone and Ridley's bold vision make it a truly unique experience that lingers with viewers long after it ends. Night of the Living Dead, 1990. Night of the Living Dead is a remake of George A. Romero's groundbreaking 1968 horror classic. Directed by Tom Savini, a renowned special effects artist and makeup wizard, this version pays homage to the original while introducing updated effects, a more dynamic pacing, and some character changes. The film follows a group of survivors who take refuge in a farmhouse as a zombie apocalypse unfolds, forcing them to confront both the undead and the deteriorating human relationships among themselves. One of the standout aspects of this remake is Savini's impressive practical effects, which enhance the horror of the story significantly. His background in special effects allowed for more graphic depictions of the zombies and their gruesome attacks, elevating the film's visual impact. The cast includes Patricia Tallman as Barbara, who takes on a more active role than her counterpart in the original, bringing a modern sensibility to the character that resonated with audiences of the time. The production of Night of the Living Dead faced its own set of challenges. Shot primarily in and around the Pittsburgh area, the film relied on tight shooting schedules and limited budgets, much like its predecessor. However, the dedication of the cast and crew resulted in a polished product that remains faithful to the spirit of the original while standing on its own merits. This version also offers a deeper exploration of social commentary, a hallmark of Romero's work. While the original focused heavily on the civil rights movement and societal issues of its time, this remake subtly reflects on contemporary themes such as fear, paranoia, and the fragility of human relationships in crisis situations. Although it received mixed reviews upon its release, Night of the Living Dead has grown in esteem over the years, appreciated for its effective scares, strong performances, and as a respectful tribute to Romero's legacy. Its impact on the zombie genre is undeniable, influencing subsequent horror films and reshaping the way undead creatures are portrayed in popular culture.